Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm working on a digital illustration, and this one I was really excited about the concept that I had for it simply because I really wanted to play with a lot of lighting and shadows and have a very glowing atmosphere, and having this Naga at the beach seemed like a great time to get a lot of sparkling light reflecting off of things and hitting things. So that was really just the jumping off point for this piece. Is it gave me an opportunity to focus on the lighting a little bit and a few extra ways that I could show that. And you'll see some of those things in a little bit and I'll mention them, but mostly what I want to talk about today is this restless feeling that at least I in particular have been feeling as of late. But I know it's a very common thing for artists to go through, but I feel like I've been feeling very unsatisfied with what I've been doing for the last while now. And not in a negative way at all. I'm not looking at my work and thinking, wow, I feel really terrible about this. I don't think I'm doing good. I think I am losing my ability to draw. It's nothing like that. And it's not like when I look at my stuff, I feel negative thoughts. But when in the past, I would normally stop at a stage and move on, or stop on a piece and finish it, I'm starting to be unsatisfied with that point. I think that there are a lot of things that I have neglected simply out of laziness, out of lack of time, many different reasons, but ultimately it means that I'm passing up better quality work for simply having more time or more speed to it. And it's, I think it's definitely time for me to have another push to practice, to get better, to really realign my priorities back into what it needs to be. And what it needs to be is studying. So the one thing that I've been really feeling this unsatisfaction lately is the figures. There's so many concepts that I have in my head, and I think that they're going to be great and amazing. And when it comes to actually creating them and posing these figures and figuring out exactly how to show them, it has a huge limitation on me when I'm sketching. I can usually find some sort of reference that eventually gets me to that end goal, but many times I have to shape my idea to the reference rather than being able to use the reference as a jumping off point and then mold it into my idea. And when it comes to simply sketching out that initial thought that I have, I feel like the sketches are just really lacking when it comes to the quality of the anatomy, and I am ready to change that. I know that if I practice better and I have a better understanding of the body and I have much more mileage under myself as far as practicing, I'll be able to sit down and get these ideas down on paper in a much more satisfactory way. Something that I'll be able to get a better feeling of what the final result will be. And I think that that's really exciting, actually. The feeling that I have right now is very hopeful, I guess, of the future and what I can do and what I can practice at. And honestly, I don't practice like at all. I draw a lot, so it's definitely not that I'm not practicing my art or anything like that, but I don't sit down and dedicate time to studying a specific thing. And I need to change that, because by virtue of drawing a lot, you pretty much will improve. It's natural. You'll get better. But it's not the same as a very concentrated effort. And I'm ready to see the improvement from a concentrated effort, especially when it comes to drawing the figure and being able to feel a lot more comfortable with that and being able to draw really beautiful figures from my head when I'm sketching. So that's one big thing that I'm really feeling ready to make part of my life, to make it part of my day, is to sit down and study and practice. And this piece actually is kind of rooted in that, in some of the practice that I did. I did sit down and I filled up several pages of just studying the torso. There are many specific areas on the human body that I feel like I don't have a great grasp on, and I don't really understand it well enough to be able to execute it in the way that I want to. So I have several pages of studying the torso down, and when it came time to working on this piece, I already had those images in my head because I was, of course, working off of reference when I was studying it. So it was really helpful to already have a lot of that fresh in my mind. It was work that I had just done, and I had just drawn lots of those same forms and lots of those same shapes. So when it came time to produce it in this actual finished piece, it was much easier than if I hadn't done that practice, or if it had been a while since I'd done that practice. So I can clearly see that being able to do this study before I start working on something leads to a better process. I felt a lot more comfortable drawing this out and sketching her out than I have in the past. So that already feels exciting, that I feel like I'm starting to take some steps forward. And another more broad thing that I really want to make myself get better at is making projects happen. I have these dreams of accomplishing these big, amazing goals, but I have the hardest time actually making these dreams into a reality, making that first jump from just hoping that it'll happen and thinking that it would be really cool into an actual finished thing. So one big thing that I've always wanted to do, and I feel like it's something that I'm supposed to do. I've always dreamt about it. I just really want to create a graphic novel. I want to tell a story through art. That's an art form that I am fascinated with. I love reading them, and I want to create it myself, but I have never been able to get it much farther than just the initial desire to create one. I don't have any story ideas. I don't have anything in the works, but I want to make it happen. And that's the hardest thing for me, I think, is making projects begin to happen. So I've already started putting a few things in action that I'm trying to make myself follow through with, to help myself start working in a project-oriented way. And the first one is the coloring book. And I've mentioned this a lot, but I haven't showed you guys any updates yet because I don't want to overload you with too much just line work, but I have actually started, and I do have a pretty good grasp on it and where it's going, and I've made traction. And that was my first thing, where it was like, okay, if I'm really struggling at this huge thing of creating a graphic novel, I can't make this comic happen yet. What's something that I can handle? What's something that I can make it happen? And then once I have that under my belt, maybe I can feel a little bit more prepared to make something more involved happen. So that was really where the coloring book idea stemmed from, is that I wanted something that was a full project. It had a continuity throughout it, because I do want to tell a certain type of story with the pieces inside of the coloring book. But having something that it all ties together, it must be complete, and it's one package project is really helping me feel like I can accomplish these things, and to get used to the mental process of thinking of things, making tasks, and making it happen. And for the most part, I'm okay at making myself get things done. It's just when they're tied together that it becomes harder, I think. And another thing that I think will really help me start getting the wheels moving of working on a comic is actually working on single page comics. I would love to do ones that maybe aren't necessarily a complete story within the page, but hints at a larger story or a world that's happening around it. And I think that would be really fascinating, and it's something that'll get me thinking about storytelling through art a little bit more. So there will definitely be a few pieces like that where they will be panels happening within the illustration, and that actually is getting me really excited for that, for moving in a very digestible direction for working on this comic, on this graphic novel. And hopefully I'll be able to finally make it happen, make a story happen, make my plans happen. And yeah, I know today was very rambly, but these are things that I've been really feeling the weight of for the last little while, and I'm excited to take that and turn it into motivation and turn it into actual concrete improvement on my end. And that is it for today's illustration. I did end up taking it back to the green color for her. I did want to push the snake quality of her a little bit more. And it's always good to look back at a piece once I finish with it and then make sure that it ends up the way that I wanted it to. And that was one that I got a little bit farther away from the original concept. And it was really easy because I did create a layer on top that I just changed to color mode, so it influenced what was below it, but I just took that layer right off and it went right back to green. So yeah, that is it for this one, but I do have a 20% off sale going on at my art shop right now, and there will be a link down in the description as well as in the end card. And that lasts until tonight, so it ends at midnight Mountain Standard Time. And I also have a giveaway for reaching 100,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And that also ends tonight at midnight Mountain Standard Time. And I have all the information on how to enter that giveaway and everything on my last Saturday's video, so if you missed that, that's where all the information is at. And I upload every Wednesdays and Saturdays, so I'll see you guys at my next one.